Aloha and welcome to Action Island. I am Gilles Gallant, and we are back for the second game of the 2025 NFL season between the Chargers and Chiefs in Brazil. And we've got Sean Koerner, Nick Giffen, and Kyle Murray on the show today. The four of us, we're going to give our two best bets for tonight's Friday Night Football matchup. But here's how it works. We're each going to give out two picks. They're going to be our best bets. Then we're going to vote on those picks. By the end of the show, we're going to take each one of those picks and we're going to make a nice four-leg same game parlay for you for Friday Night Football. And if you want to tail these picks as well, we're going to be dropping links in the chat that'll help you be able to get a quick link to a quick slip right to the sports book. And that way you can get ahead of that because some of these lines, they're going to move fast. And I want to make sure that you get the best price and number. So use those links in the chat and then you can thank us later. So let's get started. We got Kyle Murray from Roto Grinders. Kyle, what are your two best bets for Friday Night Football?
Yeah, looking forward to this Friday Night Football here. I got Hollywood Brown under 18 and a half, longest reception as my first prop. Obviously, Hollywood is more of a declining asset in the NFL these days, but also a tough matchup. Chargers last year allowed the fourth fewest yards per reception in 2024, so tough spot for him here. Brown had just one of his 5 games last season go over on this 18 and a half longest reception, and finally ran 49% of his routes from the slot last year, leading to an ADOT of just 8.1. So I like Hollywood Brown under 18 and a half, longest reception for pick number one for me.
Beauty. All right. So we're starting off with a bang with a nice under on the longest reception for Hollywood Brown. But you also have a Chargers prop that you like. What do you got?
Yeah, on the other side, looking at Justin Herbert over 3.5 rush attempts. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman early on in the offseason came out and said that he expects Justin Herbert to be more active on the ground. Obviously, expecting a healthier version of Justin Herbert than last year when he dealt with several different injuries, foot, ankle, rib injury. So, healthier Justin Herbert, obviously, he's an athletic player. I expect him to be more capable on the ground and more willing on the ground this season to run the ball here. Cleared this number in 11 of 17 regular season games last season, despite dealing with some of those injuries. And again, I do like him to look for more opportunities on the ground. We project him for north of 5 carries in our projections at Roto Grinders for tonight.
All right. Well, we got two picks right off the hop from Kyle Murray, who's looking great with the shades. Nice Hawaiian shirt there,
Thank you.
too.
Thank you.
All right. So, gentlemen, Nick, Sean, we got to vote on these picks. We're either looking at Hollywood Brown under 18 and a half yards for longest reception or Justin Herbert over 3.5 rush attempts. Let's vote. All right, let's see how we voted. I went with Justin Herbert over 3.5 rush attempts. Nick, Sean, what did you guys have?
Herbert, baby.
All right,
So
Herbert, clean
here's one
sweep.
more thing here. I really like this Herbert thing. The Chiefs and the Jaguars last year played a lot of too high, but also man. When you have
Mhm.
that one extra safety not in the box and you're playing man coverage, it allows for a little bit more scrambles. And so the Jags and the Chiefs both allowed a high scramble rate last year. So I love this.
All right. Well, we like both of these picks, but we clearly like Herbert more of these two. So that's the first leg of the four-leg same game parlay. We're going to take Justin Herbert over 3.5 rush attempts. Okay, now let's move to Sean Koerner. Sean, you have two bets for this game. What is your first pick?
So the first pick is Quentin Johnson under 2.5 receptions. The Chiefs used man coverage at the seventh highest rate last season, and that's really where QJ struggled last year. He ranked 17th out of 105 qualified wide receivers in yards per route run against zone, but against man coverage, that fell all the way to 97th. And this year, he's going to have added competition for targets and playing time. They brought back Keenan Allen, and they drafted two rookies this year in Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith. So I think they're going to push him possibly early on for snaps. So that's going to lower his floor even more. And we're already dealing with a guy that, struggles against man coverage, struggles with drops, struggles in contested catch situations. So I think, Keenan Allen being part of the mix is going to kind of take away some of those gimme throws he got last season. So, he might still get an explosive catch or two downfield. So I wouldn't touch his receiving yard market, but I think under 2.5 receptions is the way to fade him here, just given the uncertainty and how much he'll play this year. And for my second pick, gotta go with Xavier Worthy over 4.5 rushing yards. Some books actually have this at 3.5 right now. I like that even better. But he cleared this in 10 of 16 games, so 63% of the time. His rookie season, and he just has a really high floor in this market because they typically do like to get him at least one rush attempt a game. He's in motion a ton, so I think you want to throw the defenses off by actually handing him the ball one or two times a game. So that's why he cleared this at such a high rate last year. And he cleared it at a high rate because 60% of his rush attempts actually went 5 or more yards. So he has a very high floor when he does get the ball. And the Chargers specifically struggled on outside runs last year, which every single one of Worthy's runs last year was outside the numbers. They allowed the second highest explosive run rate on runs outside the numbers. And we saw last year, Jaden Reed on this very field had that 33-yard run. Some defenders were, struggling with their cleats and the footing on this field. So I don't know. I think Worthy can break a long one here. So I love taking Worthy over 4.5 or 3.5 rushing yards here.
For sure. And the Quentin Johnston pick, it's almost like the Calvin Ridley special that you had from last year where you were like, I don't want to touch the yards, but we are
Yeah.
fading on the receptions prop here. So Quentin Johnston under 2.5 receptions or Xavier Worthy over 4.5 rushing yards. Kyle, Nick, let's take a vote. All right, gentlemen, are we fading Quentin Johnston or are we taking the Worthy rush prop? I took the Worthy rush prop. What did you guys do? QJ. Okay, so under 2.5 receptions for Quentin Johnston against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. So that will be the second leg of the 4-leg same game parlay. Now, if you want access to all of Action Pro projections, make sure to sign up for an annual subscription to Action Pro. Access includes exclusive player prop picks from Sean Koerner and other members of the Action Analytics team, along with some great anytime touchdown projections. And you'll also get access to our best spread, money line, and total bets, along with real ticket and money percentages. So sign up, visit actionnetwork.com/pro today. Use code ISLAND20 at sign up. One more time, that's ISLAND20 at sign up for $20 off. All right. The king of the luck rankings, Nick Giffen, is up next. Nick, you've got 2 picks here, and you're looking at a couple of tight ends. What do you got?
I was going to say, Gilles, you had a couple tight ends yesterday. We're in Brazil, and I know we always have National Tight End Day. Maybe it's National Tight End Day in Brazil. I don't know for them. But I'm going to 2 tight ends, and let's go straight away to Travis Kelce. First touchdown, 11-1. This is a spot where I actually think this is pretty good for Travis Kelce. He, if we look at the Chargers, they played the 4th most zone last year. Travis Kelce had a sub 20% target rate versus man, but over a 25% target rate versus zone. So should be some increased volume here for Kelce against a Chargers team that plays a lot of zone. The Chargers also throw the 3rd most too high safety looks in the league. And last year, Kelce had 3 touchdowns versus 2 high safety looks and none versus single high safety looks. And Kelce also had the highest target rate among all Chiefs pass catchers versus 2 high safeties with at least 50 routes run. So, this is a very volume up spot for Travis Kelce. And look, we know he's getting older. We know his stats started declining last year. I'm not going to say he's washed, but even if, the age thing is catching up to him a little bit, we're in week 1, first touchdown early in the game. Get him, while he's at his freshest. I think that's when he'll easily be the most productive. So I like Travis Kelce first touchdown, 11-1 as my first pick.
I mean, this might be the first time that I've seen, just from an anytime touchdown perspective, where Travis Kelce isn't the first Chiefs option, which is kind of crazy. So maybe we are getting a little bit more inflated value, especially early in this offense. What's your next pick, though?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the other Chiefs tight end. I think maybe y'all thought I was going to the Chargers. Now I got to go Noah Gray, one of our favorites here at Action Network and on Action Island. We're laddering Noah Gray receptions. So over 1.5, 3+, 4+, 5+, I don't care. So Noah Gray last year in the 2 games versus the Chargers had 4 catches on 4 targets and 4 catches on 5 targets, right? So he hit 4+ in both of those games last year versus the Chargers. And just like Kelce, Noah Gray's target share goes up both versus zone and versus 2 high looks, which again is what the Chargers play at top 3 or 4 rates in the NFL last year. Same defensive coordinator, so we can expect a lot more of that again. Additionally, Noah Gray was so much more efficient with zone coverage. His catch rate the last 3 years, 85.4% versus zone coverages on 82 targets. That's crazy. Versus just a 67.7% catch rate versus man on just 31 targets. So, that just super efficiency. And we've got enough of a sample size now, 82 targets, to say, yeah, he's definitely got a really high catch rate versus zone. And we talked about it with Travis Kelce. He ain't getting any younger. Do we get a little more Noah Gray mixed in? Remains to be seen. But even if not, I still love the spot here.
Yeah, and I mean, Noah Gray's role is just continued to grow in this offense. I mean, we saw 2 games last year where it was back-to-back games, 2 touchdowns, and it wasn't out of nowhere either. Like, even by the second game, people were like catching on that he's starting to become more part of the offense as they go. So, all right, so Kyle, Sean, we got to vote. Are we going to vote on Taylor Swift's fiance to score the first touchdown of this game, or are we going to take Noah Gray receptions? Let's take a vote. All right, guys, drop everything now. We got to vote on this prop here. So I voted for Noah Gray. I'm not trying to be a hater. I just wasn't sure if I felt good about Travis Kelce. Was it a clean sweep? It was Gray. Okay, so I wasn't too far off the res there when I was kind of putting that. But yeah, Noah Gray is going to be the third leg for this same game parlay. Now, before we round out the parlay, though, if you're on Twitter, and we have a great new feature here at Action Network. It's called Playbook. So what you do is if you see any bet from any of our favorite action experts or anyone on gambling Twitter, what you could do now is you could tag Playbook underneath the bet, and our AI bot will build you a bet slip at a sportsbook of your choice. It's that simple. No need to try and find what menu these bets are under or all the different parlay legs. Use Playbook and build your bets the easy way. Well, I kind of feel bad. We didn't get a touchdown prop on here, so I'm going to throw a couple touchdown props in here, and maybe we can at least boost up the parlay a little bit. First off, we're going to start with Xavier Worthy. Again, very chalky, but right now he actually is showing the highest value in our Action Pro projections for anytime touchdown props in this game. And I think he has the highest upside for a touchdown in this game. The way that they use him all over the field last season was incredible. 17 red zone targets, 6 red zone carries, and he crushed zone defense last year too. And as Nick has alluded to, they play zone at a top 5 rate last season. So I think if Worthy could just keep his feet in bounds, I love for him to score in the opener here. This one, though, is probably going to be one where I get tarred and feathered here because I went completely with a stinky touchdown prop here. I took Quentin Johnston for an anytime touchdown. And again, I know that obviously Sean laid out a very clear path of why he probably won't see a ton of targets. I just still don't. I can't get away from the fact that he's a plus 380. When they played these twice last year, he was around plus 210 and plus 250. I mean, he led the team in touchdown catches. He did end up catching a touchdown in one of those games against the Chiefs. Also, too, the Chiefs, I found that their pass defense as the season went on, it started to kind of wane, and they were allowing a lot of touchdowns to wide receivers, 19 to the position. That was 26 in the NFL last year. So again, at 380, that's kind of where I'm like, all right, anything over plus 350 is when I'll start to consider him for an anytime touchdown. So that's where I'm looking right now for this game, guys, is either Quentin Johnston for an anytime touchdown or Xavier Worthy. So Nick, Sean, Kyle, let's take a vote. All right, gentlemen, which touchdown prop are we adding to this same game parlay? Let's see the votes. Worthy. All right. Clean sweep with Worthy. Oh, whoa. Quentin Johnson made an appearance here. Okay. All right. I thought it was going to be a clean sweep for Worthy after Sean just completely decimated what Quentin Johnson is probably going to do in this game. So, all right. So Worthy, Xavier Worthy, anytime touchdown is the final leg of this same game parlay. So let's recap what we came to here. So we're on Justin Herbert for 4+ rush attempts. That's from Kyle Murray. We're on Quentin Johnson. 2.5 receptions. That's from Sean Koerner. Then we're on Noah Gray for 2+ receptions. And we round out this parlay with an Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown. And that parlay, if you put all those together, comes up to about plus 950 at DraftKings. So not a bad start there. And again, there's going to be lots of different parlays, touchdown parlays that you could see in the Parlay Express account in the Action Network app. Before we go, though, Nick, I wanted to talk with you just about this parlay and just see what your thoughts were and whether or not you're feeling good about this correlation.
Yeah, well, one thing I really like is if Justin Herbert's going to be getting a few more rushes, that's even just fewer pass attempts that go to Quentin Johnston, right? So already some correlation there. So I like it. You know, we could have done the reverse correlation with the Quentin Johnston touchdown, but Joel went with Xavier Worthy, and I was kind of liking the odds boost on the reverse core. But hey, it's always good to have something correlated going in because you're more likely to hit it that way.
Well, for sure. And it's almost like a parlay within a parlay too. So it's like, all right, let's try to slow down here. Let's get one on the board here. All right. So one more time before we get out of here, Justin Herbert, 4+ rush attempts, Quentin Johnston under 2.5 receptions, Noah Gray, 2+ receptions, and Xavier Worthy for an anytime touchdown. You could find that at DraftKings at plus 950. So that's all for us. I want to thank you for watching Action Island. For Chiefs Chargers, we'll be back on Monday for Vikings Bears. And on behalf of Nick Giffen, Sean Koerner, Kyle Murray, I'm Gilles Gallant. Aloha and bon chance.